Hey guys, this is Tina B.
And Charmaine G.
We're here to talk about the messiness of life. It's ugly.
And it's raw.
It's real.
And it's a freaking game.
It's whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole!
Whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole!
This is us.
And our gift to you.
Greetings and salutations. We're back.
Oh my gosh. We just pulled the trigger.
We did.
We got together last week. It's
Yep.
been a freaking year. And we just said, okay, when do we want to do this? 2 days ago.
Yes.
2 days ago we decided. It's live, it's unedited, and it is adult content.
Yes, it is.
Moving forward. Oh my gosh.
We
my
actually
heart's
have
beating.
some sponsors this time.
Yeah, we
So
do.
we want to get that kind of biz out of the way.
Sure. A big shout out and thank you to Desert Homes Pest Control. They will kill every varmint, whatever insect in your house. Everything will die except for you and your family and your pets.
Oh, that's perfect.
So make sure to reach out for your home pest control because it's warming up and they're coming out of the woodwork.
Nice.
Dial 256-0407, area code 435. Desert Homes Pest Control. Our next sponsor is Sunset Wellness. Okay, and I came upon this golden gem when they launched their T-Shock cryoskin therapy, and I've been doing fat reduction on my butt.
I like it.
Well, it won't go away unless I, because I don't want to work out. I'm kind of lazy like that. So we're going to see how it works out. But they have a range of CBD products, supplements, in addition to a full aesthetic group out there on St. George and Sunset Drive. So make sure to call them today and for the introductory specials.
Nice.
Thank you.
Charmaine, that's
Thank
so
you.
cool. I would like to just shout out to Dixie Moving and Storage. My husband works at that place, and we're close to the owner. His name is Jake Green. He's been there, Dixie Moving and Storage. I want to say they've been there for 25 years, perhaps.
Wow.
That's
a big deal.
Yeah, and nobody likes to move. Who wants to pack and move? They have all of your needs covered. You want things
they come in
packed
and
professionally?
professionally?
Yes, they'll come and pack up your house, or they'll come and just take your stuff that you've already packed and take you. They have fair pricing, competitive pricing, and they're just nice guys. It's a good, wonderful, down home kind of, what do you want to call it? Maybe mom and pop kind of thing?
Grassroots.
Yeah.
And that's important because that's your valuables. Those are the things that
heck
you've
yeah.
kept in your heirlooms and everything. So
Yes.
you want to put it in protected company.
Yes. So if you have any moving needs, their number is 435-628-2281. Their website is movingdixie.com, and they are located in Washington, 1281 Red Ledge Road.
Nice.
Jake Green, Dixie Moving and Storage.
Thank you, Desert Homes Pest Control,
Yeah.
Sunset Wellness, and Dixie
Yes.
Moving Storage.
Indeed.
Yay!
Okay, so let's start with what happened here.
This is happening.
Okay, so I just have a couple of things. We want to catch up, obviously, and we want to do it briefly. We want to be pithy about stuff. So we sort of left the air abruptly, as everybody knows. I became a grandma,
Congratulations.
and this little beautiful little miracle, who's 100%. 99.9% healthy now. He's got one little tiny thing to overcome, but he's got it going on, man. He's a regular baby in every way. However, he was born with a little defect. I don't like to call it a defect. There was just a little glitch in
He
his
just
system.
wasn't developing.
Yes. The way that
as
so
scheduled.
he
Yeah.
had to be born up north. I was gone for 3 months. Long story short, I could not focus on more than that. I had to be there for
Families
my daughter.
first.
I had to be, yes. And so, and I'm glad that I did that. So now, and so much has changed since we last spoke. I mean, since we were last here, we speak often, but
The whole concept of our podcast is life. I mean, it happens to every one of us, and a lot of things are similar, and so we can relate. And if you recap your whole last year, I encourage our audience to recap their last year and realize how much you've gone through.
how much change? Oh my gosh. How much oh shit moments, like white knuckling on the ledge, just, hanging on for dear
And
life.
the pure joy of riding that wave,
Yes.
because it hurts in the beginning when it's catastrophic, but then when you realize that it's only a matter of time, it's always going to change.
Always.
Always.
It's an ever evolving deal. So I always, in my job, I sit at a desk, which this is probably the first time I think I've ever really done that for an extended period of time. I've done desk work, but also been out on the floor kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there for hours at a time. And so I listen to my books. I listen to podcasts. I listen to all kinds of stuff. And I started to, I got bored. I was like, I finished this book. I'm on my third run of that book. What am I going to listen to? And I thought, well, I'll listen to our podcast.
We're
And the
so
minute-
funny.
The minute that I turned it on, I got that feeling in my heart that I always get when I'm engaging in this. Whatever that is, the universe has some big things in store for me while doing this. I'm supposed to be doing it. So here I am.
agree.
So that was like within 10 minutes I called you. I'm like, we need to get back on track
Regroup.
with this. We need to
Regroup.
totally just come back together, reunited,
Yeah.
and it feels so
So
good.
good.
So there's that. So much has changed, and so that's why we signed off. What we've been doing is far more has changed in Charmaine's life in a certain area
list,
than in
yeah.
mine. Professionally, my life is still just kind of doing what it was doing. I have a grandbaby, so that's my big thing. And being a grandparent is the biggest blessing of them all. And you hear the stories and you get to spoil them and you do, and then they have to be the parents. There is a certain amount of responsibility that falls off being a grandparent. And I heard a guy speak a long time ago. His name was Clancy in LA. And he talked about how grandparents and grandchildren get along so well because they have a common enemy. And that's really the truth. That's really true. And I just, it added like another chamber to my heart. And I love him in a way that I didn't love my own kids. And
I was
not that
gonna
it's
ask
better.
you, is it a different love?
It's different. It's different.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll say, you're the most beautiful baby. And my girls are like, excuse me, what are you?
So jealous.
Stop it. Yes. So it is different in that you get to enjoy them more because even though you are in the background vested in their life and their welfare, it's not in the forefront.
Right. It's not your weight to balance.
No, it's not. It's
but
not.
I know how you are as a mom, and as you're so devoted to your family. Your whole life you've been that way, and so I can imagine that you're not going to be mom number 2.
Totally.
Meaning your door's open. Whatever you need, if it's a place to stay versus a babysitter versus, hey, get through these medical complications together, like that's your priority. Yeah. And so
It
that's
has to
why I
be.
paused.
That's what sustains me. But like 30 years ago, if you would have said that, I might have gone for, in my life and what was going on, I was going for like climbing the ladder at work, and being
Yeah.
more like I was doing that instead of, but now there's nothing that sustains me like the love that I have in my family.
When did that turn for you in life? Because I can relate to that, being that the quality and my priorities were way different. And now I'm looking for simplistic, just acceleration and improvement in life that fulfills me rather than external validation and all of those things.
Progressed over my maturing through the decades,
Sure.
through my 30s, through my 40s, stuff starts to fall off as to what your priorities are, of course. And then after you have babies, that changes and adds another element and all of that stuff. I just, at some point, between people pleasing and the eyes of other people, like when there was a shift where it just stopped being important.
Right.
And so it just brings me more joy than anything outside of it can, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what it's about, living those experiences and sharing them with the family and our loved ones that were meant to be here on earth together.
What's new with you?
Oh, my gosh. Okay, before we move, this is a dumb question, but because I've seen you after your children, like pictures, like Tina, you're hot. Like you're a MILF,
Oh, my gosh.
Now, are you a GILF now?
Thank you.
Are you a, are you a GILF? I mean, is that, we can make it up. We
It's
can make anything
interesting
up.
to say that I'm a grandma when I look at myself in the mirror. It's like, because I still feel, I had my kids later in life, and I still really in my heart feel so young.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I experience joy that I've allowed myself to experience in the last more than a decade, you know?
Yeah.
Things aren't so serious. I'm very happily married, as you know. And things are just calm for me right now.
It's coming.
So right?
It's coming. I don't know what it is.
So
but
I mean,
it's
there's
coming.
things I want to do. I put my lashes on, and you know, I have to get the roots not gray anymore. I have my little skunk stripe in the front, and
It's a
you
money
know, things are
piece. It's a money
sagging and
piece.
whatever. It is a money piece.
Yeah.
I'm just comfortable. I'm just comfortable.
I'm proud of you. You're a gilf, Mama.
Well, thank
You're
you.
a
I
freaking
appreciate that. It's
sexy
weird
gilf.
to think that I am a grandma,
Aw,
but I am.
I
And
think I've got some time because my little girl's only 10. Heaven forbid anything were to happen. But at the same time, I probably would show up
Oh yeah.
just the same because babies, they're walking innocent of this world. And I don't know. Speaking of age, so this last year, I don't even know where to begin. I've got
Happy
my list.
belated birthday
Thank
to
you.
Charmaine. We went out to lunch.
We did.
All four of us. Her birthday was on the 2nd of April, which was Saturday. Happy birthday to you.
45, you guys.
Woo! 45. Talk about a MILF. How you doing?
Well, thank you. It only cost me $10,000, but that's okay. No, in all its fairness, it is just a number because my mindset's differently. I mean, I've shed some skin in life. I roll with the punches, and I don't feel what 45 feels. I still crawl on the counters to get to the top shelf. You know, I think when it comes to that, you know what? I'm just going to act like it didn't happen. That's
I like it. I
it's
like
a
all of
bitter
it.
Sting. It's a bitter sting. No, so this last year, total career shift, unexpected event happened, and we are going to get into that in one of the podcasts because I think truth will prevail. But unexpected, devastating experience, and again, resilience. You just bounce back, and then you find doors open for you. And so I started my own company. I'm working on some pretty good capital investment projects. I invested in some real estate. I sold my home, my beautiful home that I built, and I got to meet the person today, actually.
Oh, how
She
cool.
brought mail by to
Wow.
my house. I know. And she's cute.
Is
She's
it a
cute.
family that moved in there?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're from Indiana, too.
oh okay. Oh, my goodness.
I know.
Wow.
It was so crazy. And I want to be her friend. And Jennifer, I will be your friend, whether you like it or not.
Hi, Jennifer.
Thanks. But no, to be honest, I can say that this last year, with all of the choices that I had to make because of that unexpected event, I didn't believe it when people were like, you know, God will open other doors for you. And, you know, it's meant to
Nobody
be.
wants to hear that shit when you're just wading through the mud.
Not appropriate. Like, I actually was like, we're not going to talk until I feel that way because, you know, I'm not there yet. And I had to be honest with you that I understood what they were saying because I've given that advice before, but it stings and you just got to feel that emotion. You got to feel it, live it, eat and breathe it. With that being said, I sold my home, career changed, great opportunity for me to be at home with my kids, but then still explore so I can grow. I'm still on the fence on about a few other decisions, but I've really deep dove into politics this last year because,
Charmaine's political.
oh my gosh, it's not the dinner table, so we can talk about it, right?
You can talk about
Okay.
anything you want,
How many
Ladybug.
friends did you lose during
Oh
the
my
election?
gosh. You know what? I just reconciled with a friend that I had had since I was 16. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
The mic's coming to Sean's mouth.
I thought that's why you guys stopped coming to see me, is because we had disagreements in our
Negative.
political
No,
ideologies.
negative.
Not
we were
happening yet.
actually talking about you the other day and thinking
Oh.
that we weren't sure which way you leaned, that you were just sort of in
Yeah.
the middle of things, or that you at least never expressed that to us. There were a couple of things that you said, I recall.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it was in the heat of the moment. There was a lot of protests going on. And
I
what
say a lot of
happened
things in the heat
to
of the
that?
moment.
We
Trump, Biden, I love you. Things just come out of my mouth when I'm under pressure.
Okay, do you want to share? I mean, are you liberal? I'm okay with it.
I think
How
I'm
do you identify yourself?
I think I'm like 80% of America.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
Okay. We're not the 20% or 10% on either side of complete whacktards. We're in the middle kind of going,
Right.
okay, I agree with some of that, and I agree
Sure.
with some of that. That's just way off base. And but you want to spend, I think 80% of our attention is onto normal life, and but 80% of the attention of those on the far left and right are the focusing on the 20% of the information that doesn't really impact us.
You know, and that's where I want to go with it, because the reason why I stayed heavy into politics is because some of my work that I do are legislative government policy projects. And as we know, state
You will
legislative,
never find me doing anything such as that.
it's actually,
I'm just kidding.
you are affected by it
wonderful.
every day.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
As a small business
I just wanna
owner,
draw.
as a college student, as driving down the road, every law created is always in statute and modified and changed, and you have to roll with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe
It's
even
evolving
educate
all the time, right?
the-
It's a
yeah.
moving. It's a living, moving
You have
thing.
to educate them
breathing.
how it's affecting me. And I mean, the big one was medical marijuana in the state of Utah. And that was voted in by, you know, the initiative ballot. But then it's since modified. We're one of 38 states. And there is a lot of, you know, changes that happen. So I learned from a very young age how the election process worked, because it was right on the cusp of Bush and Clinton election. And I helped campaign for Dan Quayle in Indiana. And I realized that, you know, when somebody says every vote counts, there's a precursor to the general election, and it's the delegate votes that actually put the people on those ballots, those nice little yellow envelopes that you get. And if you don't know the people you're voting for, you really aren't interested in, or you will feel the effect of it eventually. I mean, we all are dealing with it, gas prices, with, you know.
Well, voting, I think voting is like marriage. It's not based on one day.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody focuses on the wedding day, but the marriage is the whole life and everything
Oh.
goes with it.
Yes.
With voting, as you're saying, we have all these things that take place before the big general election.
The big general
And everyone's
election.
like, well, my one vote counts. Like, well, did you show up for the primaries? Did you show up for this? Did you show up for that? Did you, no. And
Do you
even-
understand your election system?
and
Because
even
every state's
local stuff.
different.
I mean, I think local turnout, what is it? National turnout's what, like 30%, 40%
Sure,
maybe?
sure.
On a good year?
That's
Sure.
crazy.
And
maybe,
and
and
then
then
all
loc-
the voter fraud and
then-
all of these things.
Screw
that,
that. Don't even talk about the fraud. That's a whole different thing. Now,
Horrible.
locally,
Sean got a little pissed.
what's
right there.
what's locally? What's the
because
turnout
he's a
locally?
fraud. What?
What? Oh my God! Hold on. I gotta get myself in the picture. There we go.
At least
there
your
we go.
hands. Oh, there you go.
Look at my hands, Mom.
I like it.
What is the voter turnout around
Here?
here locally?
Okay, so we are a conservative area in the state. We're still,
Well, I don't care about conservative. I'm just wondering how many people show up.
well, it's changed because you don't need to show up in person anymore. It's
Oh, you can
How
mail
many
your
by
ballot.
mail.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the percentage of the population in Washington County that votes locally, local elections?
40%.
Really? That seems kind of high.
It actually isn't, because I think there's a lot of education that goes out on trying to choose what party you're affiliated with. Are you Democrat? Are you Republican? Are you Libertarian? You know, and learning that process, you can move forward and go to your local precincts, become a delegate. And I'm a county and state delegate because I give a crap who represents me on a federal level and a state level and a county level. This year alone, there's 11 open seat positions. It's going to be a big churn.
I'm not supposed to tell you, but I'm a college elector.
I don't know.
What does
do
that
you
mean?
I'm one of 5 votes for Utah.
Really?
Get out
No.
of
Not
Oh,
even
you're
close.
so freaking joshing me.
Thanks, Sean.
Joshing me. I used to say that in junior high. Josh, are you joshing me? So yes, I did get into politics, and I'm not, just a bull out of the pen kind of thing. I want to listen. I want to learn, because you've got a lot of hypocrisy. You got a lot of people that say one thing, do another. And my livelihood, especially with the economy, with, work and balance and the checks and balance of it all, you can have people in power that really can be corrupt. And so I wanted to prevent
it's just
that.
like all the church stuff in any other community, any other organization or community. We're all human beings. Nobody's exempt from that.
Nope.
Because you have some sort of a title. Now you've become, you might have more knowledge about some things, but we're all fallible.
Very
we are
much so.
all fallible.
Very
and I
much
don't
so.
I try not to forget that, because we tend to put people, doctors and presidents and whoever, up on these pedestals, and it's not fair to them, for one. Well,
I mean, when you have somebody that goes for 4 or 5 terms, because every official position has different term limits. Most of them are 2-year, but Senate is 4. And so if you pick the wrong person, you're dealing with it. Same as our president of the United States. You're dealing with it for 4 years until the next general election. So you really want to invest in like designing what is in the best interest. And our little small neck of the woods is a pebble in the roadway, but it also is something that you should say, okay, well, I need to understand how my state operates. So with that, I highlight the need to become educated, because it surprised me how many times I would go to a doctor's appointment, or I would talk to my aesthetic, and I would say, how do you understand the election process? Are you affiliated? Nobody even knew. They just know that they get the yellow ballot in the mail now. And I have so many people reach out to me, friends, foe, everything, and says, well, what do you know about this person? What do you know? I want to encourage you to find that out and become involved, because ultimately that could be 2 years of your life that completely can make it good or bad.
so aside from politics,
That wasn't planned.
no, I know. And I always I have to be redirected at times myself. But what about everything else? What about
you mean my love life?
Yeah.
Okay, so my kids are good. We're all healthy. We all had COVID, Omicron.
Skip that. Get to the
I know. Which part is that? So my social life is intermittent and sporadic and somewhat non-existing, but I travel when I want to.
Get laid? Sorry. Did I?
My mom's listening.
Sorry.
I don't do
sorry.
that. I don't know
Cindy.
how. It's okay. So I am red. That shocked me. Good on you, Tina. That's true. And prices of flights are going up, and it's getting harder and harder. So with that, I can say life can be not only your career, but your family, your home.
So the distance works for you guys.
No,
Okay.
it's harder.
Is it?
Yeah, you don't know what you're built like until you go through it, right? And I've actually said recently, this is getting harder, because when you want to be with somebody and you're in person and there's a whole different chemistry, and then you have to disconnect again, it's like fueling the fire, of saying, okay, this is hard. And I'm not built for long distance relationships. Some people can do it. Some people live married like that. One lives in one city for work, and then they fly back home, and kumbaya. But yeah, and it's the circumstance. It's not the person. And that's the hard thing, because you just have to kind of get into the broad spectrum of. I actually took an assessment on this. This is a side note. I took an assessment, and I realized through that evaluation from a clinician that I'm more of an emotional decision maker than I am logical. So I'm really trying to be, tolerant.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Who told you that? And would you have to
James,
tell them for them to tell
Dave.
you that?
It's called the Taylor-Johnson assessment, and so it's got a range of things that are quality and then things that you need to improve on. And I want to have the best life possible, and so I wanted to learn, how am I decision? I mean, am I trusting my decisions on that? So we should have done an hour, because we're freaking awesome.
I know, but Sean said no, so.
Why, Dad?
Because we're paying him $1 an hour. Charmaine just snorted.
I
In
did.
case you missed that.
Well, we have missed you guys, and
I'm so happy to be engaged. Hey, check this out. This is a thing I feel like I've been called to do this. Have I nailed anything down? No. I know that if I keep showing up, it's going to reveal itself to me. I have a big mouth. I was born to talk. And I kind of like that only one person is talking back and forth with me. The rest just kind of floats out there. You guys can just think about whatever else.
But we
yeah.
do want to include you guys.
Yeah, of course.
We've
of
got
course.
a different platform coming out. It's a lot of similarities, but we want to talk about the range of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to learn from you, and I hope that we can teach you something. But our ideal is to just get back on track.
So happy to be back.
Oh my God.
So happy to be back.
You guys, you big old wackos. See you next week.
Bye.
Wednesdays at 5. 3, 2, 1.
Out.
You've been listening to Whack-A-Mole with Tina B and Charmaine G. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Watch us on YouTube and subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Join us next time for, well, whatever may happen with Tina B and Charmaine G on Whack-A-Mole. This has been a production from A Podcast Studio.